Hi everybody, Rabbi Yoni Mandelstam here. So excited to share thoughts on Tefilah with you. The Jewish people were leaving Mitzrayim, and the Egyptians were chasing them, and the Yam Suf was in front of them. Yikes. Says the Torah, Perek Yudal, Pasuk Yud, at the very end of the Pasuk, Vayitzaku v'nei Yisrael al Hashem. They cried out to Hashem. Seems like a pretty good idea. Rashi says, listen, they learned it from Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Jews daven when they're in trouble. Good. The very next Pasuk, Pasuk Yud Aleph, tells us about Jews complaining. When there are not enough graves in Egypt, you took us out here, Moshe, to die in the desert. Mazos asino leno l'hotzianu miMitzrayim. Why'd you even take us out of Egypt? Says the Ramban, Pasuk Yud and Pasuk Yud Aleph are not talking about the same group of Jews. Pasuk Yud Aleph's complainers don't represent people who know how to daven. The Jews of Pasuk Yud, says the Ramban, they davened, so they believed in the Yeshuos of Hashem. Says the Ramban, Einenu nireh. It does not seem appropriate. Ki bnei Adam hatzoakim al Hashem lo'oshiam yibatu b'Yeshua asher asa lehem. Could it be that people who daven to Hashem disgrace the fact, take for granted that Hashem saved them? No way. Can't be. And the Ramban goes on to explain that there were different groups of Jews. Some of them were very good, and they davened. Some of them complained disrespectfully. So lesson number one, I think, for us, is that when we daven, we need to have a tone. In the same way that a Ben Torah has a certain midah, there are midos that are associated with Ben Torah. There are midos associated with a Ben Tefilah. The Jews of Pasuk Yud Aleph, who take Hashem for granted and complain, yell at God. That's not what a Ben Tefilah sounds like. Okay, Vayitzaku, it was urgent, they cried out, that's fine, that's fair. But almost disgrace God, chas v'shalom. Someone who davens to Hashem believes that Hashem is listening and believes in Yeshuos. Point number one, there's a midah of confidence and respect that must come with a Ben Tefilah. That being said, even a Ben Tefilah should not be too respectful. Have a little chutzpah. You know why? Because Hashem wants you to daven. And it's okay to be a shtukel chutzpah. I'll tell you an amazing story from the book Lieutenant Birnbaum. He used to speak all over the place when he was alive. Zecher Tzadik Lefracha. Meir Birnbaum was a frum American soldier in the American Army during World War II, and he also started catering business later in his life, and he was struggling because he had no reliable mashgiach. So people would call up, who's your mashgiach? And he would say, yeah, we don't really have one. And he was struggling in Parnasah, but his Rabbi was the great Rav Yitzchak Hutner, the Pachad Yitzchak. And Meir Birnbaum writes, about 5 months into business, he bumped into Rav Yitzchak Hutner, his Rabbi. And Rav Hutner said, how's business? And Meir Birnbaum said, Baruch Hashem. And Rav Hutner detected something was wrong. He said, how's business? He said, Baruch Hashem. And Rav Hutner said, I didn't ask how pious you are. Tell me, how's the business? And Meir Birnbaum confessed it wasn't going so well. And Rav Yitzchak Hutner said, if anyone is not sure if you're frum enough, if you're kosher enough, you tell them that I shop by your butcher. And I think that's the same with Hashem. Sometimes we're almost too shy to talk to Hashem. But Hashem wants you to turn to Him. He wants you to talk to Him about your problems. That's what problems are there for, to turn to Hashem. Be a shtickle chutzpahdik. Hashem's waiting for you to cry out to Him, to talk to Him about your problems. And Bezos Hashem, when we cry to Hashem respectfully, but cry out to Him, that's when we'll receive all the Yeshuos that we are waiting for. Hatzlach Orab, everybody. All the best.